Hello everyone, welcome to the third episode of this series. In today's episode I'm gonna show you how to connect the SAMP server with a MySQL database. So the first thing you wanna do is to download this SAMP. You will download it for Windows. I'm not gonna do that because I already have it. After you download it, you have to turn it on. So run it. You have to run the XAMPP. After you have run the XAMPP, you'll need these two. Just go start these two. After they started, just hit admin where it says MySQL. So hit admin. After you've clicked admin, you'll see this. It will take you to a local host PHP myadmin. You just wait a couple of seconds to load. Okay, after it has loaded, you click new. So this is to create a new database. In this database, you'll use later in the script. So be sure to put some name that you will remember. I'm gonna type tutorial dash database like db and click create. Okay, so the database has been created like you can see. Now we have to name the table. This table is like a folder where you save things. For example, in this table, we're gonna save players. So we write the name players. You can imagine this as the name of the folder. After that, we have number of columns. We're gonna need 5 columns for today's episode. We can add more later, but for now we only need 5. So click create, you'll see this window pop out, and this is the name of the things that we're gonna need. For first thing, we're gonna need ID, which is gonna be an integer and is going to have a length of 11. The length here is going to I think max the 255, I don't know, but we'll set 11. It's not that it's going to number 11, it's I think it's that it has 11 zeros or something like that. It doesn't really matter. After that we need to go to scroll a little and to find auto increasement. So check that, because that is gonna increase by itself. So for every player that has joined, it's gonna increase. You'll see that in a second. After that, we'll need the player's name, username, and that is gonna be a varchar with 25 length. The other things you can leave as they are. We go the next is gonna be the player password. It's going to be an integer because we are gonna be using an encryptor that is encrypting the password into an integer. So type again 11 length. After that we need the player's money, so we can save the player's money. Also integer, we can type 11 again. After that we need the player's level, and that's going to be 11. And I forgot to add one more column. We're gonna do that. So add one column, like you can see this here. You can add as much as you want. So click go. So I'm gonna add skin, and the skin is also gonna be the size of 11. And that's it. We can go save, and our table is created. So if I click players, we have this ID, username, password, money, level, and skin. Okay, after we've done all of that, we're gonna minimize this, and we can minimize this also. You're gonna need this include today. I'm gonna leave a link so you can download it down in the description. Now open your SAMP server, go to Pavno, include, and drop this in here. After that, open the Visual Studio Code, go at the top of your script, add include a underscore MySQL, like this. After that, we're gonna need to define four things. The first thing is define host. This is gonna be the host of the database. So type localhost because we're doing this on our private internet. If you have a host, then it's different process. The other thing we need to define is the password. For now, we're gonna leave the password empty. The third thing we need to define is the user, which is gonna be root. And the fourth thing we need to define is the database. So after we've defined these four elements, which we are gonna use in the when we're connecting the database, we're gonna go to the on game mode init, and we're gonna type. We can do it first because this has to be. If this doesn't work, the server is gonna shut down. So just type SQL. Oh, I'm sorry. We need to add here new MySQL. So like this, and then we are gonna do SQL equals MySQL underscore connect, open parentheses. First, we need to add the host, comma, the password, no, I'm sorry, the user, then the password, and the database. So this is gonna try and connect to the database that we've just made to this by looking the host name like localhost, then going into the user root and checking this database. Be sure the name of the database is the same. I'm gonna copy it and check it, but I'm sure that it's true. Yeah, so it's the same. After that, I'm gonna type if SQL equals MySQL invalid handle, like this, or MySQL error number SQL isn't 0 to print that if this if statement is checking if the SQL is returning an MySQL invalid handle, or the MySQL error number is other than 0, is different than 0. If it's true, then we're gonna print that it failed to connect with the database. Maybe the SAMP isn't started, or something is here, something is mistyped. So we're gonna print that it failed, and we're gonna turn off the server. So send recon command, open parentheses, quotes, and type exit. This is gonna shut down the server, and we can do return 0. So after that we don't need anything. To successfully save and load the player's information, we're gonna need an enum that's gonna have the name player info. So in this player info, we're gonna set some elements like SID. That's the ID that we set up here. we're gonna need player password, the player's money, the player's level, and the player's skin. So these are gonna, for now, these are gonna be the elements in the player's information. After that, we create new player info, open square brackets, max players, so that's for all players that are online. When we are using this, we are gonna change this into some of these elements. You're gonna see in a short. After that, we need to go into on game mode exit. So when the server starts, we're gonna do MySQL dot underscore close SQL. So when the server is stopped, the SQL connection will be stopped. Okay, so on player connect, we're gonna load the player's things. So we're gonna do MySQL. So no, firstly we need new query 120 with the size of 128. Then MySQL format SQL query size of query, and then we need to you need to type this exactly like this. So select everything from. So you need to open these two. They're for me they're under the escape key. They're not the same as this. You can see they're different. I think it's called grave. It's under the escape button and above the tab. So you open that and set the name of the table. Like for me it's players, like you can see. So set players. So we select everything from players where again with the grave username equals, and now we need to open the other codes that I showed, like these single quotes that are next to the enter for me, and we go shift and 5 for percent, and we so we're gonna need the player's name, so we're gonna do name max players player name max player name, and we're gonna do get player name player ID name size of name. So we're gonna save the player's name in here, and we're gonna implement it here. So this format will check if it will try to select everything from players where it has this username. So we need to do MySQL query SQL query load player I and player ID. So this will send a load player. It's gonna send a load player like function that will have the player ID in it. So that's why this is for integer, and the player ID is an integer. So we can scroll down, and under commands we can type forwards where we are gonna forward the load player ID, and then also type public, and we need return 1. When the load player function is called, we're gonna check if num rows is greater than 0. So this is gonna check if when we are in players tab, and here is gonna be here is gonna be a player with ID, username, password, and etc. So it's gonna see if there is a player with those things, and if there is, it's gonna call this. So it's gonna return that it has rows. We need to load his information. So to load his information, we need to type page get value integer 0 and the name of this. So we need to do ID, password, money, level, and skin. We don't need username because we always can get his username. So open it, ID, and where we need to save it. So we are gonna save it in the player info, player ID. So that's the max players here when we set it, and this is the player information. So p money, and no p money, I'm sorry, sid. So if I go here and here, you're gonna see sid, player info, max players, and player info. So we're getting the SID, we're replacing the SID with the player info, and we are replacing the max players with the player's ID. So if we go down here, I'm gonna just hit Shift Alt and down button, like we need it for. So money, level, and skin. So replace this with the money. So money here, level here, level here, and skin there, skin here. So this is gonna retrieve the player's information, and we can send the player a text that his information is loaded. So for example, send client message player ID -1 color, because I want it to be white, and we can type your information has been loaded. So we need also to make else. So if the player is playing for the first time, we need to give him money. So I'm gonna go and find on player spawn. On player spawn, we're gonna copy this. I'm gonna leave this, but I'm gonna change this set player skin with player ID, player skin, and this with, so sorry, I'm used to my script, player info, and here player info, player ID, player level, and also here player info, player ID, player money. So this is gonna set the player skin to what it's saved in here in the player skin, in here, and what is loaded from here. So I didn't need this. I just need to set this. So this is gonna be set and it's gonna be saved. So when the player spawns, it's gonna set it like this. I'm gonna copy this. I'm gonna copy the spawn and gonna go in forward. So in here, and I'm gonna paste it down here. So it doesn't matter if it has account or it doesn't, it's gonna spawn him. And when we are gonna make the register and login system, we're gonna change this a little more, but we're gonna change this. Um, After that, we're gonna need something called a stock. It's something like the forward, but it can be called easier. So stock reset account player ID. We are gonna use this to reset the player's account. So when the player joins, his player information is reset, and then it's when we are gonna load the information. So we first reset the account so it doesn't have anything. After that we check if it has something. If it has something, we load it. If it doesn't have something, we give him this. So we reset his ID. Also, I saw a mistake here because I'm used to my script that I have done, but it isn't a problem. After that, we can copy and paste this. So for the player skin, we're gonna set 60 because it's the default one, and for SID -1 is the default one also. The money, player money, is gonna be 0, and player level is gonna be 1. No, you know what? We can do this 0 and do this 1. So if we see something with the skin 1, the 0 money and level 0, we can assume that his account is bugged and that he needs to reconnect. So we can kick the player off the server. We need also to set it, set player skin, player ID. We can just do 1 because and score to 0. We need to call this function on player connects. When the player connects, we're gonna call these functions. So just type reset account player ID, and that's it. It's gonna reset when the player joins. So we need to make a save function. So we save the player's information. How we're gonna do that is simple. We go to the stock. I'm gonna do above stock save player ID. So I'm gonna check. No, I can't do it. We need to add a. We need to create new registered max players. And this is I'm gonna use this for the save. I mean, we need to use this for the save function. So if this is called registered player ID equals false, but if it's here, it's true. And also we need to add here bool. So it's boolean. If it's boolean, it's only true or false. So we go back here and if registered player ID. So we can leave it as this, and this is gonna leave if it's true. If you want to check if it's false, then you just add a exclamation mark before it. So if it's true, we are gonna update it. We're gonna update the player's information. We're gonna do that by creating here a new query, and I'm gonna do this a little bigger, 256. So if the player is registered, MySQL format SQL query size of the query. You instead of the size of query, you can add here 256, but sometimes you may change it and it's gonna make a problem, so it's better this way. So because he's registered and he isn't in here, we need to insert into players So insert into players, open parentheses, we need his username, then his password, his skin, his money, and his level. Equals. So to register the player, we need to type insert into players, and all of these are gonna be inserted into the players table, and we're gonna assign the values. The values must be directly like that. So we need also the single quotes again. We type %e, then comma. This is gonna be a password, but for now we're gonna leave it as 0 because we don't have a login because we don't have a login or register system. The skin is gonna be percentage %d because it's a number. Also for the money, for the level. So we have the username, we have the password, we have the skin, we have the money, and we have the level. And we need to add where ID equals that and limit 1. So we're gonna assign this into the players with this value where the ID is that, and we're gonna assign it now. So first we need the player's name. So we're gonna need again new. So I'm gonna do it up here. Name max player name get player name. So we got the player's name. We're gonna put it first. Just type name. After that it's the password, but we assign the password with 0, so it's the skin. So we type skin. After that it's the money. We can copy this and just type p money, and after that it's the level, so p level, and the last one is the ID, so s ID. So that's how we register the player. Now we can remove these brackets because it's only one line of code. We can type else. So if it's not true, if it's false, we're gonna do MySQL format and here instead of and just need to check something, okay, and here instead of typing insert in, we're gonna type update players, and we're gonna set the username equals single quotes e comma, then the password equals 0. I mean we can leave here we can do that. I mean we can do that in here because it's already 0, so it's not gonna make any difference. So we just go here and put password, and we're gonna do the exactly here. So you just add all the things, skin, so again we need to add where ID equals to that limit 1. So I'm gonna just copy and paste it like this. So we got the name, we got the password, we got the skin, we got the money, and we got the level and the ID at the end. So we formatted the query, and we now need to send it to the we now need to send the we now need to type this. So MySQL _t query, and just type the SQL query, and that's it. This is gonna send the format to the MySQL and it's gonna type this and the things are gonna be saved. Okay, after creating this save player stock, we now need to save the player at some places like here. Also, when the player disconnects, we're gonna need to save him, and we also need to set his player info SID to be equals to -1, and when the player connects, in the reset account I want to set the registered ID equals false, or maybe true. Let it be equal true, because if something happens, if it glitches, it's just gonna set these values. Also, on game mode exit, I'm gonna type for new e equals new e. This is gonna loop through all the players in the game, and we're gonna type save player ID and reset his player ID SID equals to -1. Be sure, like, don't make this mistake like I did here. Set this player info SID to be under the save player, because if it's if it's about the save player, when we save the player, the SID will be -1 and we'll get errors. Okay, as I can see, there are some errors. Let's see them. So the first error here, it needs to be I, and here also this needs to be player info. Let's compile it again and see. No, there aren't any errors. So let's try and start the server. So check, the two of these are started. So if we go to start the server, okay, a little mistake I did is I forgot to add this, so we're gonna add it now. You want to open the server, go to, okay, we don't have them, so we're gonna create a new folder called plugins, and we're gonna drop this in there. We're gonna open our configure file, server.configure, and we're gonna add somewhere here plugins, and we're gonna add MySQL. So save it. Okay, as you can see, I added a few more things like this libMariaDB, log core, the plugin in here. So you need to do all of that. If you don't have the folder plugins, you create it, and you can start then the server. After you have started the server, you can join it now. Okay, as you can see, I have spawned. I didn't get the message that said that it's loaded, because it's my first time joining the server. So if we quit the server, and if we check the logs, errors, it does bring errors. So let's see what is the error. Okay, the ID is -1 and it's at 294. Let's see, 294. Okay, it's the save player. Okay, my bad, I just checked, and we don't need this here. we don't need the ID when we are creating the account. So just change this line where we're registering the player, insert into players, that and remove the ID. So let's rerun the server. Let's first compile the script. So you change this, compile the script. After it's compiled, run the server again. Okay, we are joining the server. We are again assigned the money like we are registered. Let's see if it's saved. Let's see if there are any errors in the log file. There aren't any errors. So let's check the database. We refresh. And after we refreshed, here we are twice. I don't know why twice. But the things are, everything is saved like it should. Oh, I know why twice. So we can add here also registered player ID equals false, because we don't remove it, so we can remove it here. So after it's saved, if it's inserted, we already have it. Okay, so that's the fix. I don't need to test. I really know that that's the fix. So thanks for watching this episode. Check out my first two tutorials on how to set up Visual Studio Code for Pavno and how we implemented the money, the level, the skin. And see you in the next episode of this series. Bye.